Picture this. It's just after sunrise when the first vibration rolls through the neighborhood. Not loud, not violent, but wrong. Birds scatter too quickly. Dogs stop barking. A second later, dozens of phones across the block light up with the same alert tone, a sound no one has ever actually heard outside of government tests. National emergency. Seek immediate shelter. And just like that, on an ordinary American morning, the world shifts. Not with a mushroom cloud, not with a shockwave, but with a notification. Welcome to day one of World War III, not through the eyes of generals or strategists, but through the eyes of ordinary people just trying to survive the strangest day of their lives. The trigger. Hour zero. It begins at 7:12 a.m. Eastern Time. Reports emerge of simultaneous cyber disruptions hitting major power grids overseas. International tensions, long simmering, finally snap. Then, confirmation of a kinetic strike between rival military blocs. Americans wake up to headlines declaring what no one ever believed would cross from fiction into morning push notifications. Global conflict confirmed. But war does not arrive in the United States as fire raining from the sky. It arrives as confusion, rumor, silence in the spaces where certainty used to live. For most households, the first battlefield is simply the living room. Phones slowing, apps failing, GPS drifting. The digital world begins to warp at the edges, not collapse, just degrade. Traffic lights glitch for a few seconds at a time. Gas pumps stall. News anchors speak with the polished calm of people who know far more than they're allowed to say. You step outside and notice something eerie. Commercial planes are landing early. All of them. Within an hour, the skies, normally filled with crisscrossing flight paths, grow unsettlingly empty. A silence that feels engineered. If you listened closely, you'd hear the sound of a country holding its breath. The first real sign. Hour 4. At 11 a.m., Americans hear something unfamiliar. The low, resonant drone of long-range aircraft, flying high, heading toward the coasts. Transport planes, patrol craft, nothing attacking, just repositioning. But their message is unmistakable. This is not a drill. Families gather in living rooms, refreshing news feeds that refuse to load. Grocery store parking lots begin to fill. Not chaotic, just tense. People grab canned goods, water, batteries, cash. Half panicked, half embarrassed, pretending they're stocking up for a storm. Because that feels normal. A war does not. Hour 6, the panic wave. By mid-afternoon, the first cyberstrike hits American infrastructure. It's small, targeted, but it is enough. Some regions lose cell service for 20 minutes. Online banking temporarily halts. A few traffic management systems freeze. This is when fear becomes visible. Lines form at ATMs. Gas stations stretch 5 cars deep. Schools announce early release. Parents drive like every stoplight is a negotiation between instinct and worry. The idea that war is something that happens over there dies quietly in these hours. As the sun lowers, something stranger happens. Not violent, just deeply unsettling. A voluntary national curfew. Not mandated, not enforced, simply obeyed. Streets empty as people gravitate toward home, toward screens, toward any source of information that might explain what the next few hours will bring. The government holds a press briefing, carefully worded, meticulously vague. Reassurance without promises, strength without specifics. Analysts speak in phrases you've never heard in peacetime. Strategic restraint. Limited exchange scenarios. Homeland readiness posture. They fill the airwaves, yet somehow say nothing that reduces the knot tightening in millions of stomachs. Around 9 p.m., Americans in several coastal cities hear the distant thud of anti-air defense testing. Routine, but newly terrifying. People step onto porches, looking up at a moonlit sky that suddenly feels too large and too vulnerable. Every light in the house seems brighter than it should be. Every noise outside sounds like it has meaning. This is the psychological front line, not the battlefield, but the imagination. 10:30 p.m. The longest night social media fractures into a hurricane of misinformation. Fake evacuation maps, forged military announcements, old footage repurposed with new captions. And yet people scroll, because fear is a magnet. 11:50 p.m. The moment of stillness. A nationwide emergency broadcast interrupts everything. 3 sentences, clear, stern, final. Remain sheltered. Avoid non-essential travel. We will update at dawn. Not safe, not resolved, just remain. Midnight. The American home front revealed inside millions of homes. Some families sleep in shifts. Some sit together in living rooms lit only by battery lanterns. Some stare at maps as if geography had become fate, and others, unable to bear the heaviness, distract themselves with small stubborn rituals, washing dishes, folding laundry, picking up toys, because pretending life is normal is its own form of resistance. 3 a.m. What fear really looks like. Not screaming, not chaos, just a nation of people lying awake, listening for sounds they don't know how to identify. A distant helicopter, a rumble from a military convoy miles away, a faint buzz as the grid stabilizes and flickers. For many, this is the moment they truly understand. War is not just explosions. War is uncertainty that does not end. Nothing will be the same after tonight. Day 2, dawn of the uneasy, pause 6:40 a.m. A ceasefire window is announced, fragile, temporary, born of desperation rather than diplomacy. Americans step outside their homes for the first time in nearly a full day. The sunrise looks normal. The world does not. People gather at the ends of driveways, trading hesitant nods. Conversations sound like this. Did you sleep at all? Do you think this pause will hold? Should we stay home again? No one has answers, but they all ask. Morning. The return of half-normal businesses reopen with skeleton crews. Banks limit withdrawals. News stations loop the same cautious language. Stability is holding, for now. Traffic returns, but slowly, like the cars no more than their drivers. At stores, water shelves are half restocked. Batteries are rationed. People speak quietly, as if volume might break the ceasefire. Schools reopen too, but attendance is thin. Teachers look at each other with the silent understanding that they're no longer just educators, they are anchors for frightened families. Midday. The new tension around lunchtime, something strange happens. The silence becomes louder than the panic ever was. People expect sirens, explosions, news flashes. Instead, they get nothing, and that nothing is terrifying. Cyber disruptions continue, but lightly. Annoyance is more than threats. A bank login error, a glitchy news feed, a smart speaker giving the wrong time. Small things, too small, as if the world is winding back a crossbow but hasn't released it yet. Afternoon. Neighbors become communities. By late afternoon, the country shows its resilience. Neighborhood cookouts form despite everything. People share food from defrosting freezers. Someone rigs a portable generator for 3 families. Strangers exchange phone numbers, just in case. There is fear, yes, but there is also something else. A strangely comforting sense that no one is facing this alone. Even humor returns, cautiously. If the world ends tonight, at least we won't waste this potato salad. Humans laugh in the dark. It's how they survive the shadows. The second, uncertain silence. By nightfall, America hesitates again. People want to sleep, but they don't trust the night. Government briefings repeat the vague reassurance that negotiations continue. But there is no promise of success, only efforts. Kids ask questions like, "Will tomorrow be normal?" Parents answer, "We hope so." Not yes, just hope. Pre-dawn, the crack in the ceasefire. 4:30 a.m. A distant thud is heard in several regions, explained hours later as defensive testing. But in the moment, no one knows. Phones vibrate with partial alerts that vanish before loading. For 20 agonizing minutes, Americans believe the ceasefire has broken. And in that short window, something profound happens. People mentally rehearse goodbyes. War does not need explosions to change a population. Sometimes it only needs a moment that feels final. Morning, the world pretends to be calm at 8:15 a.m. A new announcement. Negotiations remain ongoing. No active strikes on US soil. Remain prepared. Prepared for what? No one says. Life resumes, but shakily. Coffee shops reopen, but conversations are whispered. Offices are half empty. Delivery trucks move slowly, escorted by subtle security details. Radio stations rotate emergency preparedness PSAs every hour. People go through the motions, but everyone knows the truth. They are living under a sky that feels borrowed. Afternoon. The country holds its breath around 2 p.m. A new tension spreads, not from an attack, but from the absence of updates. News cycles stretch, press briefings delay, military aircraft reposition again, quiet but visible. Americans watch the sky the way their grandparents watched weather patterns. Some joke, some pray, some simply sit on porches, waiting for a future that refuses to reveal itself. Evening. The strange, fragile, normal. As the sun sets on day 3, something almost beautiful happens. People begin living again, not because the danger has passed, but because they understand danger may linger indefinitely. Kids ride bikes, couples walk dogs, neighbors wave from driveways. The world hasn't healed, but it has adapted. An adaptation, in its own quiet way, is a kind of peace, a fragile one, a temporary one, but peace nonetheless. The echo of the 3 days when future generations ask about the opening days of WW3. Americans wouldn't describe explosions or battles. They'd describe the silence, the uncertainty, the way life kept going, even when they weren't sure if tomorrow would arrive. These days become a memory that lives in the bones. A reminder that modern life is far more delicate than it appears, and far more resilient than anyone expected. If a global war can stretch across days without a single bomb falling on your doorstep, leaving fear, adaptation, and quiet resolve in its wake, what other hidden battles shape our lives without us ever realizing we're already living through them?